Jacksonville sports station 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes, is presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products on 1010XL. Now your hosts, Lauren Brooks, Donna Murphy, and Blythe Brumleve.
Good evening, ladies.
Hello.
Our very first Helmets and Heels built by Dreamfinders Homes, previewing an AFC Championship game after the Jaguars beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 45-42 on their turf at Heinz Field.
Impressive.
Donna, is this what you've been dreading?
No, I've been looking forward to it.
I remember back in October, I was planning this show and I said to you two, I want the Jaguars to play the Patriots. I wish that they were on the schedule this year because I want to know truly how good this Jaguars defense is. I said, am I crazy? Well, I did not anticipate the game would actually happen, and I could not be crazier about what happened on Sunday and the fact that the Jaguars are still in the playoffs. At what point did you think, Blythe, that the Jaguars would win that football game against the Steelers?
I was pretty confident the entire game. I thought that the first quarter would say a lot whether this team would get ahead big or if it would be down a couple scores. I wasn't exactly sure, but after that first quarter, I was confident that we were going to win that game.
And I was the complete and total opposite. I was extraordinarily nervous. I had a lot of people texting me throughout the game, especially when the Jaguars were up 21-0. Wow, this is going great. When my cousin Kayla just said, dude, and I just wrote back to each and every person, I'm still very nervous. There's a long way to go in the football game. And there was, and I had every right to be nervous.
Yeah, it's certainly some nervous points, but overall.
Yeah, it was not until probably about 10 seconds left in the game that I thought, this is really going to happen.
I mean, once it was 21-0, I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And then it wasn't 21-0 anymore, and I said, oh, no, this could be a disaster. And until literally it said 4 seconds to go, I go, okay, they got it. 4 seconds to go.
It was.
I thought for sure, I'm like, they're going to onside kick, they'll get the kick, they'll kick a field goal, this thing's going to go into overtime. And then I forgot Mike Tomlin has no brains up there, so.
He's so,
it was so stressful.
The whole Steelers team is just such an emotional team that I thought that if we got to a certain point where the lead, it was a double score lead, then I didn't think that the Steelers had the emotional fortitude in order to be able to pull off a comeback victory.
How did you celebrate the victory?
We celebrated throughout the entire game. One of my girlfriends that we tailgate with, she made some Jag juice, which is like Hawaiian punch and rum and, a bunch of other things thrown in the middle of it. So every time the Jaguars scored, we would all play this juice song by Yo Gotti, and then we would also take a shot of the Jag juice. And with the scoring 45 points, it was kind of a lot towards the end of the game, but that's essentially how we celebrated it. And then I tried to get them to burn some stuff, but I guess cooler heads prevailed, unfortunately.
Smart.
There's Christmas trees and a mattress that I really wanted to burn, and they said no.
When you first said
Christmas
burn,
trees?
I was not thinking like light stuff on fire. And so I was like, wow, okay. Now I got it. All right, yeah.
Are they
burn
real
trees.
Christmas trees?
It was a real Christmas tree. It's still very green, so hopefully we'll wait until after the AFC Championship game.
I don't want to know your friend that has a Christmas tree still.
No, it's been out on the road but it's still green but they brought it over in preparation in order to burn it, but the homeowners advised not to, unfortunately.
Smart.
Those things will light up
In gold.
so quickly. Yeah, you definitely have to have a good area set up.
Well, it was
for
still
but
green, so we didn't think that we would have to use. I just said more lighter fluid. That's all we need, more lighter fluid.
This was after a lot of Jaguars.
This is after a lot of Jag juice. So,
have you gone back and rewatched the game?
I've watched clips here and there, so it's been. I've watched a lot of that. I watch a lot of highlights, anyways, on Twitter because that's where a lot of the good plays happen. They're very quick to get a good, like the Yeldon block when Blake Bortles is calling him out so he can get the first down. That Yeldon block that was up on Twitter within probably 30 seconds to a minute after it happened.
Yeah, that was great because Leonard Fournette had trucked Mike Mitchell, the safety for the Steelers, in the first meeting, and Mike Mitchell was obviously the one that was talking about facing the Patriots again, and when Jalen Ramsey was asked about that in the locker room by Gene Fournette, he said, who? And certainly Mike Mitchell got what was coming to him with TJ Yeldon.
He
and
sure
then
did.
not go to his media availability yesterday. Mike Mitchell blew off both media availabilities. So
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
That's a Steeler.
Yep.
That's a Steeler for you.
Did your group of people think about going downtown to the stadium for the homecoming party, or had you kind of decided you drank too much? You probably should.
Well, yeah, we talked about it, and I had heard that the gates were going to be opening at 6:30, and I was like, okay, that's doable. But then I read later on that they weren't going to actually arrive until 9 p.m. I was like, I will be asleep by then, and I was asleep by then.
And that's certainly
It looked like a lot of fun the next day when, checking social media and all, but no, usually with the 1 o'clock games, I am asleep by 7 p.m. that night.
I was proud of the 10,000 or so Jaguar fans that made it out, and it was something that hadn't obviously been announced before the game, so it was exciting to have the news spread that quickly and for that many people to be able to go there and welcome them home. When it comes to Ben Roethlisberger, a lot of Jaguars fans cherish the fact that the Jaguars put 2 quarterbacks previously into retirement, Jim Kelly and Dan Marino, obviously with the 62-7 victory against the Dolphins. Roethlisberger had talked about retiring before this season began, now is saying that he's definitely going to play again. Were you disappointed that the Jaguars didn't knock him into retirement?
No, but they're definitely going to knock Todd Haley out of Pittsburgh. That's for sure. So
they scored 42 points.
Yeah, but I thought for
some
sure
fluke
Tomlin.
plays.
Yeah, I thought Tomlin would have been fired right away. I thought he would have been gone the next day, but apparently Rooney doesn't want to do that. So I think Haley will be gone, and Ben probably wants to see what he can do actually being allowed to do stuff like a quarterback sneak.
See, I was glad when I read that Roethlisberger is going to be there. The Jaguars have the Steelers' number. The Jaguars absolutely know how to get to Ben, know how to attack him in the secondary. Yes, I don't know that they were fluke plays. I think they were just perfect plays that everything had to line up in the stars for those to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback, you're talking about a Hall of Fame probably a Hall of Fame running back, a Hall of Fame wide receiver that are connecting on 4th down touchdown passes, 2 of those. One of those, another touchdown from Roethlisberger was a garbage time touchdown. So the score of the game sort of reflected that it was a close game, but anybody who actually watched knew that it was pretty far out of reach for the Steelers, especially when Steelers started scoring on offense and Blake Bortles led the Jaguars offense and answered every single time.
When it was 35-28, that's really when I thought they might come back. The Steelers might be able to come back at this point. They're at home. Obviously, the Steelers fans at that point were just going crazy. But, yeah, I want Ben to play for several more years at the helm.
Let him play. It's fine.
The Jaguars are going to go in and do the exact same thing. I have much more confidence saying that now than I did before week 5. You were confident, Blythe. I was absolutely not confident before the first Steelers matchup. But now I certainly want him to stay there. When it comes to what this win meant for the franchise, I had one of our clients, Brucci's Pizza, Buddy, texted me what he posted on Facebook after the game. I wanted to read it to y'all. I've never been so overcome with feelings about a win, but this win was special, so special. The Jaguars wanted it, the fans wanted it, the city wanted it. Strangers in the stores are saying, "Go Jaguars," and high-fiving. Sports can bring people together. Don't forget it. Go Jaguars. I thought that was poignant, and I thought it was absolutely what this city is feeling. It was like that all last week leading up to this game. It was like that the week before the Bills. But there was something extra special about taking a Steelers franchise that felt like it was their birthright to get to the AFC Championship game and knocking them off their pedestal.
Well, there's something different about this team, and you can call it being a bandwagon, but this team is actually fun to watch. TJ now is a Jags fan. He has Jags gear. He loves it. Our house is divided now officially, but it's a lot of fun.
And there it is.
And I'm so happy for him because it's been it's been sad over the past 15 years because he's kind of a Dolphins fan, not really, and the Jags were so bad. He's like, do I cling on to this because Miami's already bad? And so I'm like, I don't know. You pick a team because clearly you're not choosing mine.
See, but I think that's why it's so very special for this fan base. And yeah, it's great to have other fans and other bandwagon people sort of hop on and say that they're rooting for the Jags, especially against a perennial dynasty like the Patriots. But for me, no one, unless you've been here, either grown up with the Jaguars or been a fan of them for the past 5-10 years, you'll never really understand what this season has meant to the fan base, because it's so much of an emotional roller coaster, and to be put through it season after season of building up hopes and having them crash down, and then all of a sudden you have the savior back and you think it's going to be Tom Coughlin, and then you go through the month of August that you went through and it looks like another year of just utter embarrassment, and the season's going to be over by week 4. Here they are in the AFC Championship game, 1 game away from the Super Bowl, and this is why you go through so many years of just emotional abuse so you can experience the things like we're experiencing right now. It really is such a fantastic story that I think that if they, and I'm looking sort of ahead here, but if they do go through with it, this year or even next year, this is going to be one that's going to be a future 30 for 30.
Is TJ going to be loud when you watch the game on Sunday?
He will probably join in the family text, because he had me text something to my brothers that I will not repeat over the air. And I said, I'm done. I am not going to be party to this, so you join in the family text if you want.
Yeah, watching a game with someone who's as passionate about the opposing team, I think is just a disaster. Like, my cousin is a big Steelers fan. When she was down in September, we, of course, got the Jaguars game on TV, but not the Steelers game. They were opposite each other. And so neither of us, we text almost every single day. We didn't send anything to each other over the weekend. And then Monday morning, I posted a picture on Instagram of Brian and I after the Jaguars win. We're wearing Jaguars stuff. And she liked it. And I texted her and I was like, I'm really impressed that you liked that picture. And she's like, well, it took me about a day to get over it. She's like, I really like you guys, but moreover, she's like, I was so mad yesterday, and then I'm finally calming down now. And I was like, we would have never been able to watch that game together. She's like, I wouldn't have even thought about it. And I was like, yeah. And that's where you had mentioned, Blythe, that you had watched, what was it, the Jets game?
Yes. With
someone from the Jets fan base there.
Yeah, he's never been allowed back at the house. I said, I was like, I don't even live here, but you're not invited back here, and he hasn't been back since.
Yeah, I think the win on Sunday was almost like a flag that the entire city gets to raise in union that says the Jaguars are coming for you, Patriots, and also the Jaguars understand what everyone has been through, and this is now the story that will be written for the next few years, is the Jaguars are a successful franchise.
They're back. Jags are back.
Better watch out, everybody else. All right, just how important is football? With the Bridal Expo over the weekend, some women dragged their fiancés there, and we'll get into that and a whole lot more. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL. Donna, Tyler, I texted Tyler to see if he sent his pics. Okay. No problem.
What's his name? No. JT, I like that. Very similar to another guy.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome in.
Hey, Jada, do you know when my live spot is?
Yeah, not the next break, but our third break.
Okay.
And do you like doing them right out of the commercial break?
That's fine.
You guys notice
Thank y'all.
with Jaguar? So, why Memphis over Clark's?
I have no idea. I just got an email that said the one is canceled and the other one is signed up. I have absolutely no idea. And no one, let me know. But luckily Tom got an updated thing, and so.
Is he going to be Gibby at it on Sunday?
I asked Ken that, and he said he was asking Tom.
Okay.
So. That part I don't know. Our show on Sunday, was it Clark's originally?
Yes.
But then, I have no idea.
Pablo sold it
right
away.
Yeah.
And he sold it for more than.
Oh, did he? That's
what we're
good.
asking.
But yeah, and then we got the email today that said it had changed locations.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh.
I wonder if the 5th quarter is going to be there or something.
I have no idea.
The Memphis
I didn't even know
barbecue,
Clark's was.
Is that the new one?
Yeah,
Off of
near
Phillips?
you. Yeah.
I drove by
Off
that
of
today.
Phillips or Ponte Vedra?
It's
Same thing.
It's
in
Ponte Vedra
Ponte Vedra.
32081. So it's like
It's off of Phillips Highway.
area.
Past
Oh,
Nocatee.
wow.
Not 3rd Street, Ponte Vedra.
It's a brand new, nice little strip mall. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a tiny strip mall, but it looks nice. Really nice.
It's closer to me than Clark's for sure.
I was gonna say it still sounds like an hour drive for me.
It's a 5-minute drive for me. I'll be happy if we ever want to do a remote there.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Won't mind that one bit.
So if I tell this guy he's asking which Memphis barbecue, so I should say Ponte Vedra and he'll know.
The Shops of St. John's is the easiest way to say it. Is how I read it on the promo today.
The Shops of St. John's? Oh, then that's not in Ponte Vedra.
It said Ponte Vedra.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what they're calling
Ponte
that
Vedra
little...
32081 is what.
Oh. Then yeah, it should
And
be.
I still have the
Does
website pulled up actually on my phone.
it say
It'll
Phillips
tell
Highway?
you,
Because that's the address it should be.
It says US 1, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Phillips Highway just past Nocatee on the left.
Apparently new location, just past Nocatee.
On the left off Phillips Highway. That's on our way to karate class.
I was just surprised that. What are their normal hours? Because it just surprises me. Okay, opening Friday, January 19th at 11 a.m. So, is it not open yet?
I don't think
Or is
so.
it- okay. So, okay, that makes sense. And it's their grand.
Yeah,
This
'cause that
weekend
is-
maybe is their grand opening or something.
Yeah.
I'm curious just to see what time
Brand
they're
spanking
normally
new.
open on Sundays.
Probably wouldn't say it if they're not open yet.
It's funny, the family had lived in Pittsburgh but then moved back. Started in Memphis, but then moved up to Pittsburgh and then moved here. What are their hours? What if they're not even open on Sunday?
I'm sure they will be.
I try to think
It's a
of
special
everything.
occasion.
Yeah, right?
I should just come around and say hi. Hi guys.
Yeah.
Come on with it.
There's some discount, like $3, I want to say domestic buds, so that's right up your alley.
Ooh.
Yep.
Everybody
pass
loves
on
draft.
that.
You're right. That
Draft
is
beer,
most
right?
definitely right.
Oh, they got
Thank
Wi-Fi.
By the way, it worked out conveniently that I have both of y'all scheduled to do 2 different segments tonight, so the less talking for me, the better.
Yes.
Although when I did that, I didn't have
I
a
printed the
throat
original
issue.
one, so you just tell me whenever I'm next.
I gotcha.
I'll be
Blythe
there.
goes here, then you're next. Then I have a segment, then Blythe, then you, then we're done. I really want to call them and see when they open on Sunday.
30 seconds.
I'm sure they'll be open.
Well, just with the way it was scheduled, I was like, but I wonder what time they open, like what time, whoever the engineer is doing. You know what I mean? Like all the behind the scenes stuff. But I'm sure Tom will coordinate all that as far as the
All
site
right, here we
check.
go.
Yeah.
Dropping the throw. Steps up. Now he's going to get hit. Ball is out. The ball is out. Telvin Smith picks it up and runs along the right sideline. Inside the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown. Telvin Smith is running back, and it's a touchdown for Jacksonville.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
You were just listening to one of the calls from one of the big moments on Sunday's win against the Steelers in the divisional round of the playoffs. And for some of the fans, you're listening to Helmets and Heels built by Dreamfinders Homes, but for some of those fans, they weren't in attendance at their house or at their bar or anywhere else. They were at a bridal expo during the Jaguars game. The premier bridal expo was held this past weekend, in which the Florida Times-Union has an article that claims that the men were dragged to the event to check out potential florists, photographers, and more for their big day. And the organizer said, after learning about the Jaguars were in the playoffs, that large flat-screen televisions were brought into the expo so that fans could watch both at the same time. But if you are a bride, would you have required your significant other to come to this event? Even if it was scheduled months in advance.
So the event, as far as I know, is held both Saturday and Sunday. So if it was me and I really wanted to go and I really wanted him to go, then I would have said, we're going to, go on Saturday. Or if for some reason we couldn't go Saturday, I would make sure we went Sunday before. Granted, we work, but for most people, I would go Sunday before the game and then make sure that there was no conflict. I am not a believer whatsoever in forcing someone to be somewhere that they don't want to be. Like, that's miserable for that person. Then it ends up being miserable for you too. So I feel like it would have almost ruined kind of the fun of wedding planning, so to speak, if you're sitting there and the guy is obviously at one TV the entire time. You're trying to get stuff done. You brought him because obviously you want to talk to him about all this stuff, but he has no interest because he's watching the game. It's the freaking first time the Jaguars have been in the playoffs in a long time. Mm-hmm. To me, there's really no excuse for that, and I understand that some guys are like, you know what, if that's what she wants, that's what I'm going to do. Certainly one guy was quoted as that in there. But if she loves you enough, she shouldn't expect you to be there.
That's what one of the guys that was quoted in the article, he said, it's very hard coming out here while the Jaguars are playing, but I love my fiance, and if she's happy, then I'll be happy. I love her, and I know what it means the world to her that I'm here.
And he had the game DVR'd, and props to him for trying to do both, being able to watch the game and being able to make her happy. But I guarantee that he knew what had happened before he turns on the television, right? Like, there's no way you could get by without knowing what had already
especially
happened.
When you're walking through something like that expo, and apparently in the expo, they said that they had score announcements over the PA system, so every time, the Jaguars would score, they would announce it and update everybody. But to me, if you are getting married to somebody and they know how much the Jaguars make you happy, then why would you require them to be there that day? There are plenty of opportunities to go and look at bridal stuff besides the window of 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. on Sunday.
Right. Well, and I know the expo, you have a chance to register for a lot of giveaways, because I had a girlfriend who got engaged in November, and she had texted me a couple weeks ago, hey, if the Jaguars are not playing, will you go to the expo with me? And I said, of course. She wanted to, run in and register for stuff. But as soon as she knew the Jaguars were playing, even though they weren't playing on a Sunday, she still did not playing on a Saturday, she still did not ask me to go with her on that Saturday, because she understands that then I only get, the one day off, and I want to relax, and I don't want to go to a bridal expo. But Dawn and I were talking about this earlier. We're probably not the right group of women to be having this conversation, because this is what we do, right? Like, we talk about sports. I do it full time, and there's no possible way that I would miss the Jaguars game, because it is my job, right? Like, I get out of a lot of stuff. Like, this Sunday, I can't make it to a bridal shower because of the Jaguars game.
It's such a great excuse.
And I do love my friends, but absolutely, it's like, this is my job. This is what I have to do. So I do understand that there's a lot of women who don't necessarily, and probably men, who don't necessarily love the Jaguars, that would have been fine with going to the expo. But if the other person does want to watch the game, even if they're not a diehard Jaguars fan, even if they want to watch the game, like, let them watch the game and do your own thing.
And a lot of these expos, they're planned months in advance, and I sort of give a little bit of credit to them, especially to the couple vendors. I think there was a photographer there that was set up as a vendor, and they went out that day and went to Best Buy and got a huge television and set it up with the game on, hoping that they could attract more people to come to their booth.
Smart.
Just because they had the game on. But one thing that
they probably wanted to watch the game too.
Yeah, but then one thing that really turned me off about this is that the event organizer, the expo organizer, she said people are going to choose their wedding over the Jaguars. And I said, you must be crazy. You are obviously not from Jacksonville if you're saying a remark like that. And I looked it up, and it's not like this is the end-all be-all as far as, wedding planning expos or whatnot. There's six more in the next 6 months, 4 of them being in the next 2 months that you can go to. So that excuse of people are going to choose their wedding over the Jaguars, I'm not going to curse.
So here's what I did, okay? During the off-season, I booked JT's birthday party way ahead of time because I had to rent out a cabana and I had to pick a day. And I'm like, you know what? Sunday morning, early in the season, that I'm not going to choose a Saturday because of the time frame, because people have their college games. Like, I'll choose a Sunday morning because the game's not till 1 o'clock. why on earth would there be a London game on week 3? That makes no sense. But that's what happened. And of course, you know, people show up, they're like, of all people, you should have known. I'm like, I know. That's why I chose early in the season. You know, you don't think that.
Well, good news is next year it's either week 7 or week 8, so you can plan his birthday party
I'm
now
like, come on.
avoid all
well,
that.
that was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're nothing. That's a here's your
Atta
cupcake
girl.
at home. No, but like I never would have dragged TJ to this. When we planned our wedding, we lived up in Rhode Island and we're planning it for Daytona. So we only came down twice, I think, in the meantime to come down and plan it. So that was it. Otherwise, it was like, you got it, Mom, thanks, appreciate it. But there was, I will tell you, there's one time when I was going through all the parenting classes when we were pregnant with JT, and through the military, because they make you go to everything. And I was in the breastfeeding class, and there was husbands in there. I'm like, this is a 4-hour class. Why are you here? Like, you have nothing to do with this. So it's stuff like that I'm like, why would you drag your husband to this? You know? So I completely get it. You know, I don't know, but not everybody's like us, and that sucks. Not everybody's a sports fan, and they don't take Sundays seriously.
I think it's also, it's also a consideration, because even
oh no, there's people that don't care.
And we're gonna get into this in just a second. But to me, your significant other should understand if something is really special to you, whether male or female. And if you're going to require them to be there during that time, that almost tells me it's more like a power trip instead of wanting the best. To me, if say the couple that's quoted in this and the guy's saying, you know, if I'm here and she's happy, then I'll be happy. To me, it's like, run, dude, run. Because if she's going to require you to be there during that specific time, that's somebody that's not going to want to compromise with you in the future.
Well, and we all know, we probably still know women and girls that are like this. In high school, I was always the one that was, yeah, I said high school, at the bar. I was always the one sitting at the bar watching the TV because I wanted to watch the scores or SportsCenter or whatever game it was. And all my friends were like, why are you doing this? And at first, I'm like, well, because I want to watch the game. But then second, it hit me, oh, well, I'm with all the guys. You girls can hang on your own. So who wins in this situation? I do.
Valid point.
But there's girls like that. They don't understand, they don't care, and they don't try to care. Just as much as they try to change the man when they get together that they're with, they're never going to change themselves.
Well, I'll flip it on the other side, and I'll swing it back to from the guy perspective. What have your significant others through the years asked you to do that you've either hated or grinned and bared it or just said no?
And for me, I'm the more social one in the relationship, so I'm usually the one who's like, yeah, anything that you have going on, family stuff, friend stuff, I'm all about it. The only time that I'm unhappy is when he wants to leave anywhere early. That's when I'm like, wait, no, come on, we're having fun. And he's like, no, it's time to go home. I'm like, no. So that's really, it's never I don't want to go to something. It's just more I don't want to leave. And then he'll make fun of me and be like, okay, when I say it's time to say goodbye, goodbye does not need to take 45 minutes. Like, you just say, okay, everyone, bye, I'll see you next time. But I'm really bad at leaving, really bad at saying goodbye. By the way, I talked to Brian about this article and what we're talking about tonight, and he said, if I was dating or engaged to any woman and they tried to force me to go to the expo during a Jaguars playoff game, even probably a regular season game, he was like, that's when I would know it would be over.
Right.
That is the end. I would call it off. And I was like, I think that's valid.
It's a lack of compromise.
Yeah, I'm sure some people don't. But what about you, Donna?
No.
Anything TJ's forced you to go to?
No, TJ and I are both, we're pretty understanding and we compromise very well. The one thing I would say through the years, we have learned to either agree on a movie when we go to the movie theater, or if we can't, then we split.
Oh, that's very smart.
Like, fine, you go watch yours, I'll go watch mine. That's fine by me. We came together, but we're going in separate movie theaters.
I think it's a lot harder, and Donna can speak to this with a child. I think it's a lot harder with a child because then you are forced to be home a lot, right? And so that's the part that would be really hard for me. Is like, but I want to go to this concert. I want to go to this game. I want to go.
Yeah, like that's different. Like you talked about what's the one thing you want to go to. Like, I'm sorry, I'm giving birth to your child. You have to come here. I don't care what is on TV. You know, like when we had JT and it was the Ryder Cup and TJ is all about golf. I'm like, well, all you have to do is sit there and watch the TV, so you're fine. Right. You know,
I'll just be over here moaning.
Win for you.
No, I remember years back when I was in a long-term relationship, and we had been going through some issues, and one of the issues was me going to Jaguar games, and I don't know why it was such a big issue. I think it was more of a controlling aspect on his part, but he told me one time either the Jaguars or me, and I said, "You're crazy," and I picked my cooler up and I walked out the door. And
How much longer did the relationship last?
Maybe 6 months.
Wow, you made it 6 months? I don't know that I ever made it that long.
I was impressed.
Because when you really truly are passionate about something, yeah, the other person, even though they may not understand it fully, they should at least support your passion in that. And,
yeah.
And I know that that's, you know, kind of an ideal way of things to work, and sometimes life is harder than that. But that's the way, hopefully, we all feel if you truly love someone, is like, all right, I want you to be happy. Like you said.
And from a perspective standpoint, it's 10. And my argument was, this is 10 days out of the year. You know, you get the 2 preseason games and you know the 8 home games. Obviously, we only have 7 now because one of them is over in London. But this is 10 days. Either you can come with me and have fun together, or I'm still gonna go. That was my main point, and he tried to make me choose, and I chose.
That's why I don't understand how people do this with, I know I joked earlier that the house is divided, but truly a divided house, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how Florida fan can be with a Georgia fan or an FSU. Like, I don't know and why on earth you would ever, because never, if TJ said he was a Yankee fan, I would have said bye and turned away.
It's like, just like it's almost an immediate thing. Like it's almost like, do you want kids or no kids? No kids? Okay, well, bye. Like it's a very...
Yeah, why? You know you're going to battle all season long. Why put yourself through that?
Jen from Dreamfinders Homes, she went to Alabama, and her husband, James, went to Clemson. Well, the last 3 years, they have met in the playoffs, twice for the national title, and then this year in just the semifinals. But I think that kind of can be a testament. Now, they're not bitter rivals. They've just happened to have those rematches. But I think that's a testament to a good relationship. And they've actually watched the game together. I feel like that's where I'd be like, okay, you can stay at home watch. I'll go to a friend's house or I'll go to my parents' house. But I don't want to be in this bitterly hating each other for 60 minutes.
That's not fun.
No, especially like if there's a, certain ref call that goes one way, you might lose your mind and the other person's like, you're crazy. That was the right call. And I do fear a little bit about that on Sunday. By the way, a friend of mine who's watching us live right now, Rainey, he sent me this from Sonati's, which is fantastic. Dear Ben, please enjoy the 7 turnovers as a thank you for the 7 turnovers you gave us. Sincerely, the city of Jacksonville.
That's fantastic.
I love
Well done, Sonati's.
Yes.
Well done. So I assume that that's either getting sent to Big Ben or just a picture they wanted to send.
I hope so. Just like the
That he
trash
can
cans
see.
to Clowney. That'd be great.
Absolutely. I love it. All right, when we come back, we have more Jaguars to get into. What are our thoughts on Blake Bortles now? You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Who's going to be this week's superhero?
7:50 break, right? You said? Okay. Just want to make sure I wasn't about to miss it.
Sorry, he broke his toy, but it happened to be the one toy that we have a box out here.
Oh.
I got from here.
That somehow seems amazing. Serendipitous.
Oh, son of a bitch. Scobie said he can call in. He just hit me up.
Oh, okay.
Do we want him to call in now or next week? He
Well,
can call in anytime after 8 is what he said.
okay. Why don't we have him call in when we were going to do that 8:18 segment? Why don't we just have him call in then?
Let's see, what's that one? The Jalen Ramsey. Gotcha. Okay.
Heartbreaker. I mean, because we could do the Heartbreaker next week.
Yeah.
The Jalen we can get to in this next segment if we want, or in the either segment.
Let's see.
And the AFC South team, that is not relevant to this week, so that's fine.
What am I going to
And then I can move the Minnesota Philly to the last segment. All right, I've got you. Do you want to give him the hotline number? Do you know it?
674-2580.
674-2580. Yep.
674.
JJ Scobie may call in around 8:15
Okay.
on the hotline.
What?
Call in
What else?
around
The scope.
8:15 p.m. Yeah, Scobie just hit me up. Want to call in around 8:15 p.m. So we'd use them for that 8:20 segment. Awesome. Might have Josh Scobie joining the show at 8:20ish. Stay tuned. What else we got going on?
Lots of Jags.
It's all Jag show, I think. Let's see, what are we doing next?
You know what I learned today?
We're gonna talk Blake Bortles next.
Sheldon Day.
Who gets the most credit?
Will get the Super Bowl paycheck. If the Jaguars win the Super Bowl, and they get, they get paid for every game in the playoffs. But if they win the Super Bowl, then they get the maximum amount they could possibly get for all 4 games, which is up to $219,000. Sheldon Day will get a check for that because he was on the team the first 8 weeks of the season.
He'll probably get a ring too if they win it.
Yeah,
Usually they do
I don't.
that.
Is it
do
like
they
a
do that
voting
even for other
process?
teams
Or?
at that point?
Usually. I mean, that's going from, I don't know about NFL, but I know baseball they did. Like, remember, Nomar was on the team in 2004, but they cut him early. But
They trade that was that big trade.
Yeah, they still give him a ring.
Yep. Well, that was the voting process, so that the whole team voted to give him a ring.
Which you should.
Yeah.
My mom texted, she goes, "Your mom and dad's first date was at a hockey game. 47 years later, it's still working."
That's cool.
You guys are
And
so
that's
cute.
the thing, like, I felt bad not having a good answer to that question. Like, there's nothing that Brian's ever been like, I want to do this, and I was like, no. It's just, we like so much of the same stuff. If anything, I'm the one who's like, yeah, there's a country concert I want to go to. Will you go with me? And he's like, fine. Or he's like, no thanks, and whatever.
Like, I wanted to go see The Greatest Showman, and everybody, all my family's like, yeah, I don't want to see that. I'm like, that's a musical with Hugh Jackman. Why don't you want to see it? They're like, no.
Just go to the movies by yourself. I love going to the movies by myself.
I'd rather, well,
I don't really.
that's
You don't
because
gotta
you're
talk to anybody.
That's because you're single now, though. Like, if I want to go, I would want to go out on a date night. You know?
But you don't talk during it. And I love being able.
Yeah, but it's a whole date night.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, I want to.
It's a whole experience.
As much as I love my 5-year-old over there.
Yeah, you want some mommy daddy time.
Yeah. My own time, I'd rather be getting a massage.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy. My own time, yeah.
I sort of see it as my own time. If I want, like, Star Wars, for example, like if I'm going to the gym at 1 p.m. I'm like, okay, I can catch that 3:30 showing then.
But wouldn't, if you were dating a guy who loved it, the Star Wars also, wouldn't you want to see it with him to be able to talk about it with him?
Yeah.
Thank you, JJ.
Yeah.
The only thing Brian cares about that I don't care much about is politics. This is you. And he didn't care about politics until a certain person in office is not in office. I'm not going to say that so that people can hear that. But did you see his comment?
Whose comment?
Trump's comment yesterday, it was either yesterday or the day before, and he goes, it was about the whole racist thing because of his comment last week.
Right.
He goes, I am the least racist person you've ever interviewed.
That's
I
what's
was
the
like,
most racist person.
oh my gosh! I guess his dad was a member of the KKK, grandfather or something.
That's not surprising.
You can't say that.
Alright, here we go.
Thank you. But anyway, back to sports.
Play fake to Fournette. They go to the middle of the field. Wide open for the touchdown. Tommy Bohannon. Touchdown Jacksonville. They faked it. They snuck the fullback out. That's a touchdown for the Jaguars.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Touchdown Tommy now.
Touchdown
I love
Tommy.
it. Touchdown Tommy. And that would be a courtesy throw from Blake Bortles, who, gotta say, I was impressed, very so, on
Put
Sunday.
down your pipe and smoke.
Yeah, nothing's better than Big Bo. Baselli, I absolutely loved what he did.
There's a movement going around with Bengals fans donating to Blake
saw
Bortles
that.
charity, his foundation, because of the fact that the Jaguars knocked the Steelers out of the playoffs. And I read the article on Pro Football Talk, and it said, if you've doubted Blake Bortles, especially if you called him the 70th best quarterback in the NFL, you should donate. And I loved that because he's on Pro Football Talk, and it wasn't him that wrote it.
Right. So
someone else was calling Chris Sims out for that. So I thought that was fantastic.
It is. It's great. It's wonderful to see a complete turnaround. We saw last year, and he mentioned it, I believe it was the preseason, that the noise gets to him when he plays at the stadium. He hears the boos, and we know at the minute he throws an interception, boo birds are going to come out and we're going to throw you off your game. Like, we don't mean to throw you off your game, but that's what used to happen.
You know, you make a good point, because Blake Bortles posted to his Instagram page for the first time in months yesterday, and he's been largely off of Twitter.
He didn't have a caption for it or anything. It was just a picture.
No, just a picture. And I think that speaks volumes for his growth and as a football player, not just on the field, but off the field as well.
But to have the team has his back. It didn't last year, especially with A-Rob.
I don't think he was proving himself last year. I don't think he took football seriously until Tom Coughlin got here.
Right, because you need to study. I don't care how talented you are or you think you are. You have to game plan. You have to watch film. You have to practice your footwork. All of that has to. For instance, we look at this week and the game against New England, and I know that no days off, but I guess they gave the guys some leeway today. But Brady was in there in the film room at 9 a.m. That's what you do. You have to be in there. You have to watch tape over and over.
You have to be a student of the game. You have to be, and that was always my biggest complaint about Bortles, is that he didn't seem obsessed with football.
Right.
This year, it's only football, only for him. And as far as we know, especially from a social media perspective, he's not posting anything. Nobody else is posting things about him. He seems very focused and honed in, and you can tell in his body language. You can tell by how receptive the team has been towards him, even from the beginning of the year, from the draft. You got Jalen Ramsey liking tweets about drafting Deshaun Watson, or liking Instagram posts that sort of make fun of Bortles. And to see it all change so drastically, now that locker room has mad respect for him, and you can tell.
Well, it's almost like like a family mentality. Like, I can make fun of you, but they can't make fun of you. So if they were kind of making fun of each other, but then they saw everybody else come out of the league and make fun of him, it's like, oh, no, that's our guy now. And that's why you've seen it. For some reason, everybody's been piling on. And I don't know where all that talk was when he was bad. No one said anything except for media, which, that's what we would do. But you wouldn't hear it.
The team was not good, so they weren't singling out one person.
Right.
This season, all of a sudden, even though he had some great games in December, it seemed like everyone was saying, well, this team would be really good, except for the fact that their quarterback is Blake Bortles. And, they beat the Bills, despite the fact that Blake Bortles is the quarterback. And the game against the Steelers was so fantastic because it proved that Blake Bortles has come leaps and bounds in accuracy and decision making. His use of his legs, his mobility, that is one of the reasons that the Jaguars are in the playoffs and in the AFC Championship game. Without his athleticism against the Bills, that game is not won by the Jaguars unless the defense scores another touchdown late. But scores a touchdown late. And then I think the chemistry that we've seen him build with brand new wide receivers, that to me speaks volumes about his leadership in there too. That pass to Keelan Cole and the one pass to Marquise Lee too was such a tight window. But the pass to Keelan Cole, that to me was the moment. If there was a moment before the very end of the game that I was like, wow, the Jaguars are going to beat the Steelers. It was that path.
He answered every single play by a Hall of Fame quarterback and a Hall of Fame wide receiver and a potential Hall of Fame running back. Blake Bortles answered every single score by them. If the defense got him a turnover, he got points for the team. And
touchdowns. It wasn't a field goal until
it's leaps and bounds. And I can't. And I remember having this discussion with you, Donna, in August when they benched him in favor of Chad Henne, and we had this discussion on if a quarterback could ever come back from it. And I said it's never been done in the history of the NFL. It's never been done that a quarterback has been through everything that Bortles has been through. Got sat in Game 3 of the preseason. Sort of all hope was lost that this guy was going to be our quarterback. Even we were taking bets on when he was going to be benched in the middle of the year. And now to see him and to see him give these press conferences, he's a better person than me, because I would be calling every single one of you people out, including myself. I'll be calling everybody out.
Maybe he will if the Jaguars win the Super Bowl. Maybe we'll see that. I don't think so. I don't predict that because he hasn't done it yet. But if there was a time, I'm glad that he's not doing it now because the season's not over. You can't focus on the haters until the season is absolutely over. And hopefully that's when you're hoisting a Lombardi trophy.
So then who deserves the majority of the credit for this year? And I'm only giving you 3 choices because there's a ton that you can choose from. But would it be Caldwell, Coughlin, or do you give it all to Marrone?
I will go Doug Marrone deserves the most credit. Obviously, Tom Coughlin has his fingerprints all over this organization, and Dave Caldwell was able to find guys like Blake Bortles, who a year ago we were laughing at that selection. But Doug Marrone walked around that locker room at the end of the season last year when he was finally in charge, and he saw guys playing ping pong. And I used to go in the locker room, and I saw guys playing ping pong, and I would try to interview guys, and they'd be playing cards. And Marrone walked around and said, this is way too lenient. Absolutely not. He got rid of the ping pong table. He got rid of the dominoes that they were playing, got rid of the music in the locker room. And he also moved around the different players' lockers. It's no longer position group by position group. It was mixing in veterans with rookies. And Marrone was able to change the culture in the locker room. Is there influence from Tom Coughlin? You bet. But Doug Marrone was the one in charge of making all of those maneuvers and designing a training camp that was incredibly grueling. Paul Posluszny said it was the hardest training camp he's ever been through. Malik Jackson said it was just awful, but because of it, the players all were able to form this bond that, you know what, we are going to hold each other accountable, and we are stronger as a unit, as a team, because Doug Marrone has forced us to trust him. So to me, Doug Marrone.
It's Coughlin for me. I can make an argument for Doug Marrone. I can make an argument for Caldwell as well for building this roster throughout the years. And then for Marrone to be able to get this kind of production, this kind of talent, this kind of chemistry out of a team that Gus Bradley didn't even sniff at. But for me, it's Tom Coughlin, because you look at his history as a coach, as almost a VP of football operations. Boston College hasn't done anything since he left. The Giants are a friggin' mess after he left. The Jaguars were a friggin' mess for a decade after he left. And to see it all come together from 3 wins to the AFC Championship game, to me, you got to have that football leader at the very top and that commands respect, that's been there before, that's been in the trenches and won a couple Super Bowl rings. You need that voice, that veteran leadership. When you got Khan that's there and he's writing the checks, and that's great, but you need that expertise on the football side. And to me, Tom Coughlin came in and just sort of, almost like a King Solomon with the golden brush, and everything he touches turns to gold, and everywhere he leaves turns into a mess. And I think that he is one of the most brilliant football minds, and that he is largely overlooked because of his time with Jacksonville in the very beginning of his NFL career. But now he's getting, hopefully he'll get even more accolades, because I don't know that he's getting enough.
And I'll be different. I will say Caldwell, in the sense of he put his ego aside. If he didn't really have one, but he put it aside and said, yes, I need help. Let's bring in Coughlin. That is a fantastic idea. I'm not going to deal with any of this. Let's bring in the guy who knows football. And we will go out and we will find those free agents. We will bring them here. We will throw that money at them, make them believe in Jacksonville. Keeping, Hackett and Wash and promoting Marrone, like everything we all laughed when we said that they're promoting Marrone, and we're like, what kind of a decision is that? And everything seems to be working out perfectly for Caldwell, where last year we were scoffing at him saying, oh, we don't know, he's going to be gone this year along with Bortles, everything, everybody's, it's going to be a fire sale.
Another rebuilding.
Yep, and just magically he has put everything together.
And the one reason I'll still say Marrone over both of those is because when the game starts, Coughlin can't do anything and Caldwell can't do anything. So it's all on Marrone to make every decision, obviously with the coordinators like you mentioned, Nathaniel Hackett and Todd Wash. But it's up to him. If there's a decision that needs to be made, whether to throw the challenge flag or whether to do what Mike Tomlin did and choose an onside kick with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left and 2 timeouts, those are all the decisions that he has to make, and he has to go counter punch the other head coach. As soon as he makes a move, he has to be able to react and know what to do from there. So to me, when they first brought Coughlin in, I thought, oh, so he'll be able to like text Marrone, this is what you should do during the game. But no, he's not allowed to have any interaction. The executives are not allowed to have any interaction with the coaching staff. So it's not like he can use that past that he has in that history.
He takes notes.
But
all throughout it's all throughout the week leading up to it, the weeks leading up to it. Coughlin's footprint on this team is just as much of a partnership with Marrone and Caldwell as it is any kind of, and I almost struggle with picking a singular effort, but I just look to the past teams of what they've done and the lack of success that they've had since Coughlin left, and it's palpable how much of a mess a historic franchise like the Giants are after he leaves. Immediately after he leaves, it's like all hell breaks loose, and then everything is fixed as soon as he gets here. It's quite remarkable.
Well, I know that coming up we're going to go with the Jaguars Patriots. It's the AFC Championship game. We got to figure out who needs to do what the other team is likely going to do, and yeah, that's going to be fun. Who should fear what, and what should we be watching for, right, Blythe?
I think so.
We do have to make our picks a little later in the show, too. Tyler's not here tonight, but he did submit his picks. Calais Campbell, Jaguars All-Pro defensive end, he predicted that the Jaguars-Steelers game might be 45-42.
I can't believe
it's crazy, right?
To that,
yeah, it's crazy. Is there anything that you've ever predicted that bold that came true?
The Steelers Week 5 crushing. I did predict that. And I am predicting a trip to the Super Bowl this year. We are going to beat the Patriots on Sunday.
No, I predicted stuff that doesn't happen. Can I say that one? Like the 18-0. Yeah, nope, lost that one. So no.
It is harder to predict things that you can't control. Obviously, the one that I remember, I was on the beach watching the Georgia spring game, right? And first half, Jacob Eason plays. Second half, Jake Fromm plays. And the way the commentators were talking about Jacob Fromm, I was like, this kid is special. So on the show on Monday, came in, said I watched the Georgia spring game, and watch out, Jake Fromm is going to challenge Jacob Eason for his starting job. Obviously, that got laughter because of the fact that Jacob Eason was, at the time, predicted to be the #1 pick in next year's draft. Well, yes, Jacob Eason got hurt. I didn't necessarily predict that. I would never, wish that upon anyone. Eason got hurt, Fromm came in, but they never went back to Jacob Eason. Kirby Smart stuck with Jake Fromm all season long. So that's one that I feel like I nailed, and it goes to show you why you should watch football games on the beach.
I will say that I can agree, and I think we all agree that I nailed the Johnny Manziel was going to be nothing but trash. There you go.
Absolutely.
Nothing but trash.
I also predicted that Chad Henne would take snaps in the Jaguars-Texans game, the one at Everbank Field in November, and that came true. They also laughed at me for that one, but that one came true. But that one was kind of easy because I knew the Jaguars were going to wallop the Houston Texans at that point since they didn't have Deshaun Watson. All right, Donna is going to break down Jaguars v. Patriots and the game planning. That's next. You listen to Helmets and Heels built by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL. A hidden gem at the beaches, the Preserve at Ponte Vedra Lake is a must-see. This is Lauren Brooks for Dream Finders Homes. Do not make a home buying decision without visiting this community. Located far enough off the beaten path for your privacy, but still close to dining and shopping. Starting in the mid-400s, you'll choose from 6 new coastal floor plans. The luxury outdoor patio with fire pit and grill is perfect for me. Affordable coastal living only from Dream Finders Homes. Visit the Preserve at Ponte Vedra Lakes today.
Scobie's going to call in at 8:15.
Okay, awesome. Now we can promote that in this segment.
We're going to have Josh Scobie on the show.
Almost had to leave to get more water
tonight.
In the middle of that segment.
So we'll preview Patriots Pats next. And then we'll talk to Scobie. and then we'll do our football picks. But y'all probably care more about Scobie, which I would too. All right, let's think. What kind of questions should we ask Josh Scobie? I gotta brainstorm these now. Let's see. Y'all have any questions for Josh? Let us know. Put them in the comments, and I'll see if I can get them asked on air.
You can still bring us back that segment.
Yeah, I figured that would.
Okay.
It would still be the same. Let's see.
I almost got through that without messing up.
Super Bowl berth. Good or bad move on his part? What's been the most exciting thing to watch so far this season? Now that you're y'all can sort of watch me work live on coming up with interview questions. And if you're just tuning in, we're going to have Josh Scobie on in about 20 minutes. So if you have any questions for us, put them in the comments. See if we can get them answered live on air. What's been the biggest difference between you made the transition from player to fan this season? What's been the biggest difference
Oh.
for you?
I didn't know if maybe, some adults
How
love
has this
like
change impacted
Disney
your life?
stuff.
Hacker, I bet, has those.
Oh, definitely.
Most of the gentlemen that I know don't have pajamas. Or
Yeah,
I should
DJ
say
doesn't have
sleep with pajamas.
They don't wear footies to
Who's your
bed.
favorite member?
They wear nothing.
Right.
Not that I ask most guys.
But I wear my PJs all the time.
Yeah. Well, you did you wear those to work today?
And I wore the sweatshirt to work.
Yeah, I was gonna say you didn't have those bottoms on. Goodness gracious.
Until CJ needs to go to the You know what your name?
Oh, Donna.
I gotta ask him if him and Josh Lambo are best friends yet.
Yeah, because Lambo told us they haven't met. Or did he say they haven't played golf? He said they haven't played golf. I don't know if he said they haven't met.
I don't know if they've met yet.
Thank you.
Is this my so-called debate?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it down. So I'm not looking at you while I talk. I apologize. I figured my mind wouldn't work that well tonight.
I didn't know if y'all wanted to debate. I couldn't tell from your.
Oh wait, we're doing a debate?
See, that's what I thought. I didn't think we were. So we'll just.
I'll just give you my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to know some secret intel.
15 seconds.
WJXL FM, Jacksonville Beach.
Lauren Brooks here. Join us for the Sawyer Gas Kickoff Show live from the new Memphis Jack's Barbecue in the Shops of St. John's on US 1, Sunday at 10 a.m. Enjoy $3 domestic buzz and keep your NFL logoed pint glass while enjoying the game on their 5 big screen TVs.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Finders Homes.
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes, is about to have a special guest. Coming up the next segment, former Jaguars kicker Josh Scobie will join us. So we will chat with Josh all about that win over the Steelers. I have a feeling he was happy about that one as well after spending some time up in the Steel City.
Did you see his tweet before the game started? He said he feels like he was going to be blocking a lot of people before
yes,
the start of that
I sure
game.
did see that, and I hope that people left him alone and focused. The Steelers fans focused their distaste on their coach, their players, whatever they wanted to do. Has nothing to do with former Jaguars kicker Josh Scobie. He is not a former Steelers kicker. He's a former Jaguars kicker.
Yeah, officially now, but there was a time that the Steelers fans were so ruthless that they forced him to delete his Twitter account for quite some time before he got back on Twitter.
Yeah, and I think that that's a smart thing for athletes to do if they are receiving a lot of negative commentary. Just don't worry about it for the time being, and get back on Twitter or some other social media when things look better and brighter, and that's exactly what he did. So we will get to him coming up in the next segment. Before that, we are going to break down with our resident Patriots expert, Donna Murphy, exactly what the Jaguars need to do in order to win the game against the Patriots. Donna, we'll start with offense. What does the Jaguars offense need to do in order to beat the Patriots defense?
Study a lot of film. They need to study a lot of film. Both the offense and defense needs to find something other than bad words and bad phrases to motivate them. And with the
Patriots aren't going to give you anything.
They're not going to give you anything. The Patriots did the exact opposite, and I'm sure you've seen this. Matthew Slater, who is the best special teamer there is,
I loved this.
Right? He talked about Jalen Ramsey because obviously all the media asked him about Ramsey's comment, and his was, the good Lord made that guy, and he said, let there be corner, and there he is. So, and they all agree, he should be confident because they are great. This is a great defense. It's a very tough defense. But offensively, you need to not dismiss the Patriots' defense. I know that if you look at their numbers, they have not been good at all season. But they've gradually gotten better, especially after the bye week. And Matt Patricia, who has earned himself a head coaching job, turning that defense around, especially losing some key players. And you're dealing with corners here that will give you a ton of room. So
Malcolm Butler and Stephon Gilmore.
They will leave feet. You will be able to catch that ball. When Bortles throws it, they will catch the ball. And they, I don't know, maybe we'll have 5-10 extra yards until the corner gets there. I cannot stand the Patriots secondary. They bug me to no end. And if I swear they draft one more Rutgers player, I will be throwing something at the TV. Maybe a tissue, but I will be throwing something at the TV because they never
Jaguars fans felt for a while there with a certain person at the helm.
They do not turn around. They don't look for the ball. Now, when it gets into the red zone, that's different though. So that's what the offense will need to. They will be able to move down the field. Don't be surprised if you see them moving down the field because that's what the Patriots defense will let you get down there. But once you get to the red zone, then they'll either be stopped or it'll be a field goal. That's what they've been known to do,
Unlike
at least as of late. Right.
Who actually had the worst percentage in all of the NFL at giving up red zone touchdowns at home.
Now, it was impressive what they did, 8 sacks against Mariota, who is very mobile, but they were able to get to him. So that surprised me. The game against the Titans surprised me in the sense of the defense, of how well the defense showed up. Now, if we're going to turn defensively, what the Jags should do is exactly the same as what the offense should. You need to study film because Brady is studying film on you. He knows, and I know that they've been talking a lot about this, playing man coverage. Brady eats up man coverage. He loves it. When you're in man coverage, he's like, boom, got it, boom. He gets the ball out within 2 seconds. 2 seconds, so you got to be there. Now, it is a banged-up offensive line. Nate Solder has been beat a lot this year, and that, not injury, and I've stopped being mad at him for when we found out because his little boy has cancer again. So he's obviously,
dealing
not
with a
all
lot
there.
off the field.
Right.
Yeah.
But Waddle also got hurt in the Tennessee game. So the offensive line is banged up a bit, and so that front line will be able to go if you pressure him. And everybody always says, pressure Brady. Hitting him doesn't do anything to him. And you heard, I forgot who it was, I think it was Malik Jackson. Hitting him doesn't, he gets right back up, and he said, here you go, I'm going to throw a touchdown now. It doesn't bother him if you hit him. You keep sacking him and you keep him off the field, that'll work. But hitting him does nothing. It just fuels him more. So get the ball. It has to be a strip sack with unique stuff like that. But the corners, the interesting, I know everybody's talking about the Gronk. Who's going to cover Gronk? If you're in man coverage and you're just one-on-one with Gronk,
Good luck.
Yeah, I don't see how that's going to work. But if you're going to two over him, then all the other weapons are wide open. And besides a few people who play fantasy football, nobody knows who these players are. You know,
Brandon Cooks and Chris Hogan.
Yeah,
and Danny Amendola.
Right, and James Devlin. Like, everybody is going to be in play.
Will Rex Burkhead be back available?
Yes.
Okay.
What did Miami do in their win against the Patriots that the Jaguars can sort of pull from?
It's in Miami. It's like it's like when the Jags go to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh has no chance. It's just the way they are. When Brady gets into Miami, I swear he's never played a Super Bowl in Miami, but if he did, he would lose because there's something about playing in Miami. He stinks. He gets off of the plane and he becomes a horrible
So it was just Brady
quarterback.
stunk and not what did Miami do to win?
They get to him. I don't know.
They did harass Brady.
They harass him.
I really want Fowler to harass the hell out
You
of Brady.
can. If you do it, you got it. But you also have to know that you have 2 seconds to get to him. That's what you have. And that is not very, that's not a long time at all.
But they can if the offensive line is not
it's not like they
100%.
haven't lost this year. But what they will do, what the Pats will do, will be studying the San Francisco game. They will be studying that because they know Garoppolo, obviously. So they know why he was doing what tendencies he was doing. Because now, and you also have all that game coverage that with the practices and stuff like that. And Coughlin is the key here. And I know he's not the coach, but he has Belichick's number. He just does.
I really want to be a fly on the wall for Coughlin's conversation with Bortles this week.
Well, see, the thing you got this, though, is Bortles is not Eli Manning. Bortles can chuck it, but it might not be a pretty ball. So that's the thing. Eli Manning can at least chuck it and throw a spiral. That's what I know of Eli Manning.
I saw Bortles
he chucks
chuck
up
a couple.
Right. He chucks up a ball and then miraculously it gets caught. You know, that's what happens. That's, you know, so I won't be surprised if that happens at all because that would be Coughlin's handprint. But you got to look at the Giants games going against. That's what, and I'm not even going to be surprised if they look at those as well. They're going to look at, the coaching staff's looking at the game plan for all the Jags games this year. They're going to look at the practices they had. They're going to look at the Giants games that Coughlin had any imprints on. They will look at the games that the refs, whatever officiating crew, they will look at all those games. That's what they study, just to know kind of what you can get away with, what they're going to be calling, everything like that. It's ridiculous. When I watched Do Your Job Part 2, they were talking about every little thing they watch. And I couldn't even believe that they watch games of the officiating crew. I was surprised, but that's how diligent they are.
Yeah, no stone left unturned.
Right, so don't be surprised if that first quarter with the Titans was horrendous. And so they ripped up that game plan and then came out with something else. And they'll have multiple game plans ready. So it all depends on what the Jags do. Do they come out doing their normal job? Do they come out doing their defense? Or are they playing off of New England? It's going to be a fun chess match, I think. And a very, very close game.
Is it Will Brinson? He sent out a tweet earlier today, and he said the Jaguars fit a similar mold to other teams who went to New England and beat the Pats in the playoffs. And the 2009 Ravens come to mind, 2010 Jets, 2012 Ravens, and then obviously the Jaguars. And they looked at defensive rankings, points allowed per game, and all very similar within those margins. So for the people who think that the Jaguars' chance or opportunity to beat the Patriots are out the window, they're not.
No, they're not at all. I mean, this is going to be an extremely close game.
How do you think the Jaguars attack the Patriots?
That's what I'm saying. If they choose to go man coverage, I don't think that's. I don't see how that's going to work well. What they need to, I hope, what they're practicing this week is up tempo. Brady will do that. He will. They will not be in a huddle, rarely, and they will not give you time to change
Right,
your
they're going to keep
coverage.
those defensive backs on the field.
They're going to stay out there, and I keep forgetting if it was Malik or I've heard so many comments this today, and somebody asked, I think it was a Hayes interview, asked, were you tired out there at the end? Yeah, I was tired. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't have said that, because now I know that you get gassed. And the Pittsburgh's not an up-tempo offense at all, and that's exactly what the Patriots are. So if you got gassed up there, I don't know if it was because you were hyped up and everything like that, all the emotions got to you at the end, but they will bide their time and then make you tired at the end.
Why is the Boston media so arrogant?
That's only a few of them. Are you talking about Maserati and Shaughnessy?
Yeah,
they're idiots.
And there are a few other
speak.
people, I feel
they do
like
not
that,
speak to us.
Like as far as the guys were talking about earlier, some of the Boston radio people were only talking about the Super Bowl. They were not talking about this weekend whatsoever.
So I listened to it's the Felger and Maz show. Tony Maserati is one of them, and it's a horrible show. But they were supposed to have Brady on. That's why I was waiting and listening to it. And they never got to it. And they said this is going to be the most boring week of sports talk. Like, this is how spoiled you are. I enjoy it. And yes, I've been living it for 15 years, but I still enjoy it. This is exciting. And they're like, it's so boring to talk about this. I'm like, get these morons off the air. But if you see when Tony Maserati sent out that tweet about resting Brady, if you looked at all the comments, they're all Pats fans saying, you're a moron. We should rest you. The show should be done. Like, nobody agrees with him. If there's anybody on that little timeline that does, then they're morons too. But they do not speak to how we feel. Because exactly how, and I know you're going to laugh at us, but my parents, who were season ticket holders for the Patriots, back when it was the metal bleachers like you see here in our station, and they sat out there, and they would only win 2 to 3 games a season, and it would be 10 degrees, but they kept their tickets and they kept going just because that's what they do. They love the team. And now obviously it is, thank you, that money was well spent now, but they bided their time and waited. And so you got to know that besides the Celtics and maybe the Bruins, it took a long time for the Patriots and for the Red Sox. So most of the fan base tries to remember the humble beginning and where before any of this. So I don't walk around and talk trash at all. That's not who I am. But even when it was the 18-0, I didn't say anything. But in my mind, I'm like, oh, this could be really great. I just want to shut up the Miami team. I just want to shut up the Dolphins because I don't want to see that champagne every year.
Will it be hard for you at all, now that you're so familiar with the Jaguars, talking about them week after week for the last 4 seasons? Will it be hard for you at all?
No, because I'm excited for the Super Bowl, because I have a team going to the Super Bowl.
No matter what happens.
No matter what happens. Like, I am stoked this year.
So you won't be upset if the Pats lose?
No, not at all. I won't be mad at all. I will be so happy, and my brothers on the other end, they might not be so happy. They're going to the AFC Championship game too.
I have a bunch of friends going up there for the game.
Yeah, I told them, I go, wherever you see Jags fans, you make sure you tell them, hey, helmets and heels is great.
I love it.
Because I'm sure they'll be like, wait, what? What's the Pats fan know about that?
All right, coming up next, Jaguars former kicker Josh Scobie will join us. We will pick his brain about what the Jaguars need to do about the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Just how do the Jaguars get to the Super Bowl? We'll talk to him about that and a whole lot more. You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes on 1010XL.
Make Monday feel like game day with post-game Monday.
Yeah, I was telling TJ, so we're having this conversation, and I go, look, if Jacksonville needs to have motivation like what the Steelers gave them, it's not going to work this week.
They don't. I don't think they do at all.
No, so that's what I'm saying. He goes, wait, such a Patriot fan. I go, I'm just saying the Patriots aren't going to give them that. I'm not saying they're not going to be motivated for the game. I'm just saying
Brady said it's the best team he'll ever face.
Yeah,
whatever, right?
I'm like, if they need that extra motivation, they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And so that's why him and I, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm like,
Well, if they need motivation, they can get it from other places. It doesn't have to
Right,
be.
I'm like,
it's not going to be bulletin board material.
I'm just stating a fact that I know they're not going to say anything bad about the team.
Y'all better not watch the game together.
We will, but that's what, like, it's going to be funny because I'll be like, yay, yay, like on every play. Like, I don't know, as long as nobody gets hurt,
Yeah.
you know? I was surprised because I predicted that there would have been ejections in the Steelers game. I thought
At the very beginning, it looked like
Right?
it was going to be.
I'm like, oh, for sure there'll be at least two.
I'm like, y'all settle down.
Right.
Just get your minds right. Get those jitters out. And then
Right.
after the first quarter, it seemed to settle down.
And it's funny because all the trash talking that Ramsey will do, they like it doesn't bother them during the game.
At least they say that.
Right. Well, Edelman would
I
have been
mean,
hot.
clearly Gronk took a guy
Right.
out.
What he's
after.
learned, so he won't. Right. But last week, Solder, some guy punched him. Did you see that? Some guy
No.
tried to throw a punch at Solder.
One of the Titans
Yeah.
players?
And do you know what he did? He just runs the other way. He's like, I gotta go
Oh,
back
I did
to the
see
huddle.
that. Just kidding. I did see
Yeah,
that.
so I gotta go back to the huddle. I'm like, see, they're not gonna get bothered by it. There's
No.
a couple players that may, but the trash talk will, because they're used to that, because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
the Patriots.
Because,
so
yeah, they're the
used to
team
being
every
told.
other team is gunning for.
Right. So, it was funny. So TJ took his, so we were watching the game and TJ had his Jags shirt on and his Jags beanie. And I had my Brady jersey on. Because I don't wear game day apparel on game day. I'm weird, superstitious.
Yeah. I didn't know that was a part of your superstition.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the season. Like, I'll start at the beginning, and if
Oh,
they
okay.
lose or they don't
I
play well,
gotcha.
I give it up. And so,
Oh, Alex, that's a good question. Who did the better Steelers killing job, Scobie or Blake?
ooh, that is a good question.
Who did the what?
The better Steelers killing job, Scobie or Blake?
Did you see Sean Payton was mocking?
No, he's calling in.
Did you see Sean Payton mocking the skull clap before,
See, there he is right there.
before they lost?
Yes.
Now that's a coach I don't like because
Yeah.
he is
Bounty
cocky.
gate.
Yeah, he's cocky.
About to have Josh Scobie join the show.
You may hate Belichick, but he ain't gonna do anything stupid like
Mm-mm. Sure won't.
that. Sean Payton is just a.
There's so many coaching mistakes made this weekend between Tomlin and Sean Payton,
That's why it's gonna be fun to watch this game.
even Andy Reid last week in the wild card.
I'll tell you what, though, you better watch out for special teams.
It's going to be, I think situational football is going to be where the Patriots have the advantage.
Their special teams is phenomenal, phenomenal.
I'm getting nervous.
And the Jags special teams will, right? That's the one that makes you bite your nails. Like, oh crap, just hold on to the ball or just
I
kneel.
just stopped biting my nails. I don't need to start.
But that's the Pats special teams. That's what I don't know. I think out of everything, I'm the most confident in.
That's well, you should be. Belichick is a genius in that regard.
Yeah.
Who's your kicker now? It's no longer Gostkowski. I always
Yeah, it
forget. It is still Gostkowski? Oh, why did I think he moved on?
Because he stunk last year.
Oh,
But he
okay.
changed his form or something.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I haven't heard your son in a while. I'm almost worried.
I should probably go check on him. That's a good idea. Usually that's how we are. We'll mute the TV, but
Yeah, something's up. Thirty seconds.
Thank you.
Community, a hassle-free community.
This is 1010XL,
Good.
92.5 FM. Fishing is more fun when you catch something.
It's probably bedtime for him,
Road's
right?
fishing forecast with
Right about
Captain
now?
Kevin
It's bedtime
Baker.
for
Brought to
me.
you by
Yeah.
Ring Power, Baker Glass, and Morningstar Marina Mayport. Wednesday nights at
This is the
7
one that I
on
can't figure out.
1010XL.
We're here.
I will. I think.
play in the wild card. The snap, the place with the kick up on the way. Scobie drills it, and the Jaguars retake the lead, 31-29, with 37 seconds to play.
You're listening to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes,
Presented by Underwood Jewelers and American Window Products.
on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. My name is Blythe Brimley, and I'm joined alongside Donna Murphy and Lauren Brooks in a special emergency guest announcement. We have one of my favorite Jaguar players of all time, Josh Scobie, now joining us on the show. The first time I think you've ever been on Helmets and Heels, correct?
Yeah, I think that's true.
Well,
First time joining us live. I did a one-on-one interview with you at a golf course one time, Josh.
That's a surprise.
But it was a fun interview only, and this is going to be all football.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I'd prefer golf, but I guess we can talk football given the circumstances.
Well, it's about dang time you joined us on the show. So take me to Sunday's game against the Steelers. Obviously, it's two of your former teams playing against each other. I think you have a little bit more affection towards one versus the other. So what are the emotions going through your head sort of before, during, and after this game?
There was a lot going on with me Sunday in terms of emotions. It started out with me tweeting, "Go Jaguars," beat the Steelers, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, my Twitter feed just gets bombarded with people from the Steelers, fans, whatever, who are still angry with me for my time spent there, apparently. So I guess they're still a bit bitter of how I played there, but I couldn't give two whatevers about that. My allegiance is with the Jaguars. Whenever I play 11 years with one team and 4 games with another, my allegiance is going to be with the former team.
There you go.
It was a fun day for us. We had a lot of friends over to the house and watched the game, and I mean, I couldn't have been happier with the result. It was a blast to watch, and I'm so excited for this organization, for the fan base.
Give me your opinion on Josh Lambo. Do you enjoy watching him and seeing his celebrations?
I love it. I mean, he's been fantastic. Not only just good this year, he's been really, really good in terms of making every kick. But not only is he making every kick, there's no doubt behind every kick. They're going right down the middle. As soon as they leave his foot, I know they're good. And if I know they're good watching them on TV, then it's a really good kick. And I'm happy for him. There must be something about the first name Josh, but it's been fun to watch. And like I said, I'm happy for him, and he's helped this team out tremendously.
Josh, looking ahead to the AFC Championship game, which team has the advantage on the kicking unit? Is it the Patriots or the Jaguars?
Well, you'd have to give it to the Patriots right now. I mean, they have the best special teams player maybe in the history of football with Matthew Slater. I mean, he's on every major special teams unit that they have, and he's been to the Pro Bowl multiple times. They have Steven Gostkowski, who's probably one of the best kickers in the history of football. They have Ryan Allen as their punter, and he's a really good punter, left-footed guy that's hard to catch his ball when it's coming down. And so they're a lot more experienced than the guys we have right now. But with the fact that we have Joe DeCamillis as our special teams coach and his experience, he's got a Super Bowl ring under his belt. He's got a lot of tricks in his bag, and with what we've shown this year on special teams with the highs and the lows, I think it's going to be a pretty good test for us.
Josh, we asked earlier in the show who should get the most credit for the Jaguars' drastic turnaround. Should it be Coughlin, Marrone, or Caldwell?
So I actually voted on this earlier. I saw this on Twitter. And, I mean, you have to give it to Marrone because he's the main guy in charge. He's in the team meetings. He's on the sideline. He's doing what he has to do to make the calls. You can, say that Caldwell had something to do with it. Of course he did, and that goes for Tom Coughlin as well. But Doug Marrone is the one sitting there on the sideline, doing what he has to do, making the tough decisions, and putting this team in the place that it's in right now. And as a former Jaguar player, and now as a Jaguar fan, we can only appreciate that.
Josh, I want to ask you a question about Patriots punter Ryan Allen. So he is a left-footed punter. What makes it so difficult for people to catch a left-footed punter's ball?
Well, number one, you don't often see a left-footed punter. It's just something that you're not used to. It's kind of like a pitcher in baseball. If you're used to seeing a right-handed person your entire life, just like the Jaguars punter is right-footed. So our punt returners every single day are used to catching a football punted from a right-footed punter, and so the spin comes down a certain way, and then all of a sudden you go into a game where there's a lot on the line and the ball is coming down the opposite direction. Things just get a little bit different. It's hard to explain, but the spin is the exact opposite, and it's kind of weird. Left-footed punters have a different type of spin on the ball, and strange things can happen.
So will the Jags bring in someone who is a left-footed punter? How do you practice for that?
Knowing Joe DeCamillis, the special teams coach, he probably had someone in today working out for the Jaguars, like a quote-unquote workout for them, who was a left-footed punter, just to punt balls to the returners to give them that spin. Or they have the jugs machine out there this entire week, and they put it on left-footed spin and go from there. But luckily, with Joe D, he doesn't leave too many stones unturned.
Former Jaguars kicker Josh Scobie joining us currently on Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. Josh, do the Jaguars have to have a perfect game against the Patriots in order to beat them in Foxborough?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if they have the similar game that they had this past week against the Steelers, then they can win the game. I'm obviously no expert on offense and defense, but I just think if you put some pressure on Tom Brady and affect the throws that he is used to making, then that's going to help us out on defense. And if we control the ball, don't turn it over, and run it well on offense, then that's going to give us a much better chance. And special teams, if we have a slight edge there at the end of the game in terms of field position and net punting, then I like our chances.
Josh, from a former player perspective, now a fan, what does it mean to you to see the city, to see the team come from blackouts to sellouts?
It's been fun. I mean, this year it's been my first real moment to be jealous that I'm not playing anymore, because this team has a lot of fun with each other. You can tell they have this camaraderie that I've never seen before. I mean, the videos that I watch, the things that I see, how they interact, they love each other, and they play like it, and they have this passion for the game that it's just fun to watch them do it. And it's been great for the city. The more they win, the more that helps out everything in the entire city. It doesn't matter what it is. And I just think that the city really revolves around the Jaguars, and the better they play, the more good things can happen.
So we see that you got your ticket. You're headed up to Boston, correct?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
My wife actually booked everything before the game ended, which I didn't really like very much. It was very superstitious, but I was literally telling her, please don't do this before the game ends, because it started getting down to the wire. But she was trying to secure some hotels and flights and whatnot. So, we're pumped to go there, and we're taking our 6-year-old, so it's going to be a great time.
And I'm guessing you're going to be dressed to the garb in your Jags gear, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And my wife wants to put my son in my jersey and go in there, but I'm trying to deter her away from that.
Oh, come on. That's awesome.
Well, I just don't want to have to kick anybody's knees in or punch anybody in the face for rude comments. So
I think that's
you're not going to Pittsburgh, so I think you'll be okay in New England.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're a little more subdued up there from what I hear.
Josh, I assume that your favorite player on the Jaguars is Josh Lambo, so we'll just go with that. Outside of Lambo, who is your next favorite player?
Jalen Ramsey is my favorite player the Jaguars have ever had, and I've never met the guy. Obviously didn't play with him, but this guy, I tell my son all the time, and he has his jersey that I got signed from Jalen for him for Christmas. He's one of the most impressive football players I've ever seen, and his confidence and his swagger is unreal. I mean, it blows my mind the way this guy conducts himself and then the way he backs it up on the field. Yeah, so it's got to be Jalen. He's unreal.
What did you think about his comments Sunday night at Everbank Field?
The first thing I said was, they might have had a little shot of Hennessy on the plane back. Literally the first thing I said, because, you hate to put yourself out there like that, but guess what? That's Jalen.
All right, Josh, we got a question from a fan, Alex from the UK, who's a big Jaguars fan, and he asked, who did the better Steelers killing job, Scobie, yourself, or Blake?
Gee, you know what? That's funny. That's funny, Alex. It's probably past your bedtime there. It's like 1 a.m. So I'm gonna say Blake, and yeah, that's about it.
What about your favorite moment this season? From watching as a fan perspective, what's been your favorite moment?
Well, we went to every game this year at home, and it had to have been the Buffalo game. I mean, last week was so much fun. The Seattle game was fantastic, too. But the Buffalo game, we had a big group of friends that we took there, some friends in town from Texas that went with us, and we all got to enjoy that. And I mean, I'm not going to lie. After the game, I was in tears, like emotional for this team, just pumped for the city, pumped for the fans, and excited for what had happened because, this fan base has wanted this for so long and has just really been waiting for a reason to cheer the way that they want to cheer. And now that it's happening, it's exciting. And so that game last week was awesome for us, but amazing for this city and fan base too.
All right, Scobie, so it's that time of the night. We need your prediction. You're going up to Boston. What do you think will happen?
My prediction is 34-27 Jaguars.
Ooh-wee.
That's a close game.
It's another high-scoring affair. I don't know if our hearts can take it, but I love the result. I also love that you chose Marone as the main catalyst, because that was my answer earlier. Josh, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Have a safe trip up to New England.
Enjoy the chowder.
Oh, I'll try.
And I don't even have to say stay warm because it'll be about the same temperature it is here.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Absolutely. All right,
thanks,
you, Josh. That was former Jaguars kicker Josh Scobie. Some great stuff. I love his reaction to the Jalen's comment. They must have had some shots of Hennessy on the plane.
To have my favorite player and then my new favorite player both love each other.
Well, actually, Jalen's never met Scobie.
Well, he signed his son's jersey, so
did.
There's a little bit of a connection there.
He did. I wonder how he got a hold of that without Scobie being a part of it.
Warms
but
my
yeah,
heart.
that is awesome. All right, one more segment to go here on Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes, which means picks are coming up next. It is a very tight race, and this week and next, in the next 3 weeks, we will have the winner/loser. Really, the loser of the TB12 diet. The winner doesn't really get anything. The loser, though, does have to do the diet for a week. So we will make our picks next on 1010XL.
Special teams are a part of making a team special.
We got to get him on every show. I love Scobie.
He is great.
My heart. When he said Jalen Ramsey, I'm like, oh.
I wondered if he was going to say, I thought he might say Calais or Blake or Linder. Like, those were the three that I thought he might say. But I guess I should have thought more about it.
Yeah, I would have structured my questions a lot more. But that was good, just last minute, being able to put that together.
Yeah, good job.
That's fun. That's good.
And that's the fun part.
He should have his own show. He really should have his own show. Like, he's that talented.
Yeah, I wonder if he wants to work in this business or not.
That was cool. Hope you guys were able to hear that. I see you, Jay. I teared up too a little bit, in case you noticed. Especially when he's talking about what it means to the city and how he's an actual fan now. Like, that's powerful stuff. Like, I don't know that we've had besides like Baselli, I don't know that there's been a player more cemented in this community other than Scobie.
Brunel, probably. He left to play elsewhere.
Sorry,
But he's back now. He coaches high school football.
He's like, we're going to the Super Bowl, we're going to win that bid.
No, to me, the hierarchy of Jaguar players, it's Fred, MJD, Scobie, Caselli, Rasheen.
I'm glad you didn't say no.
The fact that and the pride is a sham. Should never be in there.
Patriot fans do not like Brunel.
I mean,
So,
I don't
and
mind him,
this
but I
is-
just don't think he should have the notoriety that he has, because he's average at best.
Well, there shouldn't be really any fights up in Foxborough. But if there's a Jags fan there wearing a Brunel jersey, that person will get yelled at, will get taunted. Yeah.
Really?
That's so awesome. He's going to the game with the family.
Yeah, because Brunel was the first person to come out after Chris Mortensen broke that report.
Oh yeah, and then he cried on air.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
like, I can't
disappointed
believe-
in Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Shut the Brunel,
and
get out of here.
Immediately, Pats fans are like, "What do you mean you believe this report? How dare you?" So yeah. Yeah, that was the Here, I got it here. Let me see if I can find it.
Let me see. Why is this autofill not working? Hope you guys enjoyed that interview. That was really special for
Here
me
it is.
anyways. What is this?
This is what the station up in Boston did 2 years ago when they played Patriots. They made a bunch of those 2 years ago when we
That's
played.
awesome.
Yeah. That one's funny though. That one I enjoy. I'm like, yep.
I'm gonna make it. If it was another week, I would have left it.
I need to do something about these chairs.
I'm surprised the door doesn't squeak anymore.
Ricky.
WD-40.
Richie must have. Yeah, he must have done that.
The reason I went into consulting? Because I love hunting for paperwork, not because I like developing plans to help small business.
That was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. We should just replay it for the rest of the show. Josh
He's-
Scobie talking about his favorite player being Jalen.
See, I like that even he knows about Matthew Slater. People know Matthew Slater. He's dangerous, man.
Yeah, well, as a former special teams guy,
You know, yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know that the machines can spit out a left or a right punt.
I didn't know that either.
Oh, me neither. So that was a great question. I've seen the stuff on the Belichick and the left-footed punt and all
Right.
that stuff, but I didn't think about how the Jaguars prepare for it.
I like how they always spin it. They're like, the genius of it to get a left-footed punt.
I was like,
I'm
I
like,
asked the
what the
guys,
hell's
how
the
did the Jaguars
difference?
prepare for Brady and Karan?
Yeah.
He just made a joke and he goes, they've got Koyak. Come on, Warren.
Well, it's kind of like what they did with preparing for J.J. Watt.
Mhm.
They would put up tennis rackets to Brady.
Yes, yeah.
That's what they would keep doing. I remember that one. So maybe you do the same thing? Because he's got paws.
Do you end the show with this break, or do you all come back?
We end it here. So usually it's like 54.
Okay. I'll count you down, I guess.
Alex said,
Okay,
Scobie's right, it is past my bedtime. 1:30 a.m.
Thanks for listening,
I
Alex.
know, he's such a trooper. Thank you, Alex.
On 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels, built by Dreamfinders Homes. You know, there's one thing that we didn't talk about, and that's all the other games that went on.
Oh,
I wanted to give my little mention to the Falcons and say, I don't know what you think you're doing, Arthur Blank, but
didn't you know better?
I saw you on the sidelines before the game was over.
I said that during the game.
I'm like, what are you doing there? Why are you there? You would have thought he would have learned, right?
Yeah, and if I was a Falcons fan, I would have been losing my mind.
Exactly.
Obviously, I had picked the Falcons. I think all 4 of us picked the Falcons.
Yeah.
Actually. But I was laughing to myself. Like, if I was a Falcons fan, especially if I was a Georgia fan and a Falcons fan between those last 2 games and then this game, man.
Who was the poor guy, the secondary, the corner that
Marcus
missed?
Williams.
Marcus Williams. That
He's a rookie
kid.
safety.
Oh
I feel
my
bad.
gosh. He handled it so
Yeah.
perfectly after the game was over. And Cam Newton could have looked at him and taken notice because that man sat, they said he sat in his locker with his head in his hands and he was visibly emotional, but he gathered himself and then he went and answered every single question. And then the Saints fans waited at the stadium and greeted all of them with signs for Marcus as they came in at 1 a.m.
That's good.
That's awesome.
That sucks. I mean,
he's going to be a good player.
It was a miracle play, you know.
Well, he missed a tackle.
He missed the tackle,
and then he threw a block.
But for the fact that Diggs stayed, you know, inbounds and upright was, you know, that was incredible.
And it was really cool to see Case Keenum too. I mean, this is to see a guy go through everything that he's been through, and then to be on that field, and then to lead the Vikings chant with the fans and to look at him and just see in awe of what he was able to accomplish with his team. It was that Sunday will go down as one of the best days of football that I've ever seen.
One of the things that struck me with that game was obviously while he was doing that, but they're waiting to kick or waiting to kneel, and some of the Saints players came out to do it. That took a lot of pride.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to. They could have done it on their own, but whoever decided that those players were going to come out, because it wasn't all defense. I think one was a special teamer, right? I don't know who number 7
There was a punter out there.
Punter, yeah. So it was fantastic. To me, that warmed my heart, and I'm like, see, that's how I'm trying to raise JT. Like, you got to be a good loser. You don't be a sore loser. You know, you got to be a gracious winner. But if you do lose, you got to stand up and shake the person's hand and say, "Good job, man. That was a good game."
Yeah, I mean, you're going to lose at stuff in life. The one thing that struck me from that game was the fact that the Vikings have this lauded defense, and yet they were up 17-0 on the Saints. Granted, the Saints' offense is very...
Drew Brees is just
very powerful.
Impeccable.
They've got Alvin Kamara, all that stuff. I get all that. But at the same time, if the Vikings' defense is all that, you're not necessarily supposed to let a team come back. And that's, you know, kind of what I was saying about the Jaguars' defense throughout that game before I knew the Jaguars were definitely going to win is you have a great defense. You're not supposed to be allowing these big explosive plays on you. Granted, they're perfect throws, but you still are not supposed to be.
Those are tough plays to play defense against. I mean, the quarterbacks are going to make those throws, especially Hall of Fame quarterbacks who have been in those moments before. And I picked the Saints in that game only because of Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. But this playoffs has proved that it's no longer the best quarterback gets their team to the next round because we got Nick Foles, we got Case Keenum, we got Blake Bortles, and then we got Tom Brady. And it's a little bit of a difference in the balancing scale there.
And the only thing, though, is Nick Foles didn't necessarily get the team to this point, obviously. I think Carson Wentz should be credited. He was almost the MVP if he hadn't gotten hurt and torn his ACL.
But he's
at
come
this
in.
point, Foles was able to beat the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to lead his team, although I thought the Falcons should have won that game.
And I really enjoyed watching the post game with LT and Prime because it was hilarious. I mean, the interview when Prime called Fournette, I don't know if you've seen it or heard it, and then Telvin Smith comes in and interrupts. It was fantastic.
It was Telvin and Jalen, I think, too.
And I love that Fournette said, "I heard you call me the tiptoe burglar." I'm like, I heard him call him the tiptoe burglar too. I was like, it was fantastic. But it's such a great show, and they were making fun of Mike Tomlin with the spit in his beard. At the end of the game,
it was
like,
all
no
frozen.
one has told you. They were showing a timeline of a countdown. They're like, no one's telling you to spit in your beard. Look how much time has gone by.
I was wondering what that was.
And it was fantastic.
I assume that all of you, if the Jaguars are able to beat the Patriots, I assume everyone in Jacksonville would want to face the Eagles, not just because of Nick Foles, but because Minneapolis is where the Super Bowl is. So you don't want to play a team who would have the hometown advantage.
Right. You don't want to play the team that would have the hometown advantage, but the Eagles are the tougher team, I feel.
You do?
Yeah. Their defense is much tougher, I think.
I think both have really good defenses, but the Vikings also, to me, seem a little bit lucky. I don't want to face a team.
That has
I don't want the
luck on their
Jaguars to
side.
face a team that has luck, right?
Right.
I don't like the
Unless
way
it's
that,
Andrew Luck.
she's right.
All right, you want to get to some picks?
Let's do it.
All right,
I've
so
been nervous
Lauren-
about this all day.
Lauren, man, has 8 wins in the past 2 weeks.
Son
She
of a-
has dominated. She has now taken 3rd place, while Tyler, who is not here tonight,
That's probably why he didn't want to show his face.
is in last place. Again, we do not pick against the spread. We pick straight up. The loser after the Super Bowl, I can't say the end of the season anymore because we have 2 more games. The loser after the Super Bowl will be doing the TB12 diet for 1 week. And that will consist of basically avocado toast and
Poor Tyler's gonna eat like
avocado ice cream.
be a sheet of paper.
We told
after
him
this
you can't drink alcohol or have coffee on this, so I don't know what he's going to be like.
See, I don't feel
We're gonna
confident that he's going to lose yet because something tells me Tyler, and I know he submitted his picks to Donna, I don't know what they are, but something tells
Same
me
as
he picked the
mine.
Patriots.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so therefore, that's what I've been going back and forth with all day is don't make an emotional pick with the Jaguars. But get us started, Donna. Let's do
All
it.
right, well, so far right now we have Tyler on the season with 41 points. Coming up next would be Lauren with 42, Blythe with 43, and I have 46. We have 3 games left. So come the Super Bowl week, we will, depending on how this week goes, we will likely have to make a score prediction as well to do a tiebreaker. Yes. I know, right? All right, so first one, let's go with the Jags visiting the New England Patriots. Tyler has chosen with the home team. He will go with the Patriots. I myself will go with the Patriots as well. Blythe?
There's 0 chance I'm not picking the Jaguars in this.
I didn't think so.
And that's exactly why I've been wrestling, because strategically, I should go against both Blythe and Tyler, except they're on opposite ends for this game. And so it makes it incredibly difficult. Look, the Patriots are a team that's been there. They've been to 7 AFC championships now in a row. Tom Brady has the best football IQ of anyone that's ever played in the NFL. Bill Belichick is the best coach. They have the best tight end in Rob Gronkowski. But, oh, by the way, they have 2 electric running backs in Deion Lewis and James White. Their defense was able to sack Marcus Mariota 8 times, and he's a mobile quarterback. Everything tells my gut to pick the Patriots.
So you're going Jags.
But it's exactly right. But I have studied this matchup a lot since the game ended on Sunday, and the Jaguars have something special. The Patriots, to me, this run is almost over. I don't necessarily buy into that whole story that we talked about last week concerning them, but something tells me that Tom Brady is near the end. I thought that this would be the year that he retires, and I don't think he retires with a Super Bowl victory. So I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars to upset the Patriots in Foxborough. Josh Scobie and his wife will be very happy campers along with all the other Jaguars fans. I have some friends that have their flights booked, and so I'm emotionally picking, which is what I said I wouldn't do.
That's okay. I mean, I believe this is going to be a very close game. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park at all for either team. I would be surprised if it is.
Shouldn't be. It's an AFC championship game.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be very close. All right, well then, Vikings, Eagles.
This is a hard one.
It's who you
super
want
tough.
and who you think. This is exactly the same. So I don't want the Vikings there because I don't want all the Minnesota fans there because then you're screwed.
Right.
Like there's nothing. I don't even know if you could get tickets. It would be ridiculous. Tyler has chosen the Eagles. I myself have chosen the Eagles. Blythe?
Dang. I want to face off against the Eagles, but I think it's going to be the Vikings that are going to win it.
So you're picking Minnesota?
Yep.
Okay. Lauren?
I have the Vikings. I picked the Vikings to beat the Saints. I was the only one.
We are split,
And
so
the
yeah.
end of that game was glorious for me. So I think there's something, like I mentioned a moment ago, the Vikings have something special also, like I think the Jaguars do. And it's about a guy who was an undrafted quarterback being able to rise to take his team where he has. And I think, not necessarily that I have sympathy for head coach Mike Zimmer. I guess I have empathy. I've gone through all the same eye problems that he's gone through, so I'm proud of the way that he has battled back through all that. Your doctor tells you to take time off. He didn't. He's worn those glasses, which I know are a pain in the butt, and I like the Vikings to beat Philly at home. Did you see, by the way, that those German Shepherd dog masks are now sold out all over the world?
Are they really?
Yes.
That's
you cannot
funny.
find one.
They were
for under
creepy.
$200.
Why was he wearing it?
Because they were the
underdogs.
underdogs.
Oh.
They were
very creepy.
Agreed.
Because they fit so well.
And they put it on
Right?
immediately
And they
after
look
the game.
You know, most masks are supposed to be funny or silly. That was just like,
No,
wow,
it was-
that looks exactly like a dog.
Yeah, it was really kind of scary to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will see a lot more of those now at the NFC Championship game.
Look, and I get it. I mean, trust me, I get it. Nobody wants to see a Patriots-Eagles Super Bowl. No one wants that. The league may want it. The league may want Minnesota, but nobody wants that. I get it. So I'm fine with it. But look, I'm not gonna hate on anybody. And
So with these
good.
picks, though, so if
you
what
win,
are the scenarios?
So if you win both, and I have 46 points, you have 43, that leaves me at 46. That puts you at 45. So that puts us at the Super Bowl. And if you win and I lose,
Oh,
then we'll need a score
dang!
time.
What?
Yeah.
So if you all pick the same team to win the Super Bowl, then that's where the tiebreaker comes into play.
Okay.
No, if we both pick the same team for the Super Bowl, then I win.
But say Lauren and I's picks are
so she'll
both.
have to pick against me.
So say Lauren and I's picks are both correct.
Mm-hmm.
Could Tyler leapfrog us both? No? Yes?
No.
No, because Tyler's picking mine. So if you and Lauren win, if the Jags and the Vikings win,
Tyler loses.
Tyler loses.
It doesn't
He
even
stays
matter
at
about the
41.
Super Bowl.
But say
Yeah.
we lose, then he leapfrogs us both.
Then he's tied with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I have to get the Super Bowl right
Yep.
in order to win.
Yep.
It is
It'll be
dangerously
fun.
close.
I figured we're gonna leave the Pro Bowl out of it because they don't really
Yeah,
try.
we ain't doing
Oh
no
yeah,
We're not
Pro
picking
Bowl.
that one.
That's not a real game. All right, time now to give away the Peterbrook Chocolate Heel. There's an easy way to win it tonight. Text into the 1010XL text line driven by Duval Ford. The first person to text in Josh Scobie's number when he played for the Jacksonville Jaguars wins the Peterbrook Chocolate Heel tonight. They are delicious, and you want to win one just in time
Celebrate,
for that game.
eat it.
Absolutely, on Sunday, the AFC Championship that kicks off Sunday at 3:05. Again, text into the 1010XL text line driven by Duval Ford, 641-1010, the number that Josh Scobie wore when he played for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You got a score for the game? What do you think?
I haven't gotten to my score yet. I know that Josh picked 34-27 Jaguars over the Patriots. Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. It usually takes me until about Friday when I start preparing the kickoff show to come up with an actual score, but as of right now, I don't think it's nearly as high as he said. I think it's more like 24-20, something like that.
Odd Sharks has the Patriots winning 30-17.
So that's really not even that close.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
don't
have a
know.
score prediction yet?
Well, my heart wants to say, like I've been saying, it's going to be a close game, but there's something in my gut that's like, it might be a close game, and I don't know why. I don't know
Might
why.
not be a close game in favor of the Patriots, I assume.
I think it is, because every time I keep reading everything about, the defense matching up and what they're going to have to do, and it's tough. And then you're in the back of your head, you have that Tom Coughlin. That's what we all have, that echo that we hear. We don't like that echo.
I don't hear an echo. Do you?
Pats fans hear that echo. We were like, no. And
I
sounds like
gives me more
Judgment Day.
confidence.
I did enjoy, I think it was Midday Chalk talking about, imagine the storyline if they got Garoppolo. And so it was Garoppolo and the Jags coming to New England. I'm like, oh, man, that would have been a fun storyline. It would have been so much fun to talk about.
Absolutely. And I think there are some
And it
great
still is,
storylines, no
but
matter
yeah.
who is in the Super Bowl, other than, obviously, the Patriots storyline is legacy, is dynasty, is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and all that stuff.
I know, everybody hates it.
But it is an old story. And the other three, I think, all have extraordinarily intriguing stories. So, to me, and that's partially because I think the Jaguars are going to be in it. So, therefore, to me, there is a huge storyline of a team going 3-13 and basically breaking down 4 years ago to absolutely nothing and rebuilding to this.
Blackouts
to where the
to
Jaguars
sellouts.
to where the Jaguars are a serious contender. It is just one of the greatest sports stories that we've witnessed here in Jacksonville.
30 for 30 coming soon.
It would be. I don't think they'll do the 30 for 30. They would if the Jaguars win the Super Bowl, but I don't think they'll do it
They gotta
until
win.
they see what happens with this regime and with this current formation of the Jaguars. I think they'll wait.
They got to make a new football life for Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, but I think his time has to be done in order for something like that to happen. All right, ladies, this is the end of us.
Super Bowl!
But don't go anywhere.
We're going to Super Bowl.
Hacker After Dark, minus Hacker, plus Andrew Gibson and Tony Smith is coming up next. You can hang out with Fat Tony Blythe and I Sunday morning. Donna may swing by as well. Memphis Jack's Barbecue, the Shops of St. John's, just past Nocatee on Phillips Highway or US 1. We will be there from 10 to noon. But stay tuned for Hacker After Dark. That's next on 1010XL. Oh my gosh, my throat hurts so bad.
We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to win that bitch. See you Sunday.
Oh, that was